Solutions. Add-on desires.
Hello viewers, welcome to Adult Solution Daily Current Affairs. I am Lokesh Mengonda. This session is mainly designed for aspirants preparing for banking, groups and such other competitive examinations. We cover news articles from both the Hindu and the Indian Express. Make a use of this. First, we have an article where it is stated that a US panel has advised the United States government to put India on a list called as Countries of Particular Concerns list. So we'll see what is this panel and we'll see why India was recommended to be kept under this list. So this US panel is called as US Commission, that is the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom, International Religious Freedom. In short, what we can call it as USCIRF. So this is a US commission and every year it will check the other countries, that is it will check the foreign countries whether these countries are having some religious tolerance and whether there is rule of law when it comes to the religious freedom in these countries. And after checking this US Commission on International Religious Freedom will release an annual report, and this report is titled as International Religious Freedom Report. And in this report, this commission will state which all countries are allowing the religious freedoms to be diverted, which all countries are tolerating the violations in the religious freedoms, and if there are any countries which are doing so, they will be placed in two types of lists. One is countries of concern. One is countries of concern. Next is a list called as countries of particular concern. So if there are minor violations regarding the religious freedom, then that country will be placed under the countries of concern list. And if a country is tolerating the violations of religious rights, then it will be placed under a list called as countries of particular concern. And in the second year in a row, that is in the year 2019, that is for the year 2019, they will release a report in 2020, and for the year 2020, they released report yesterday. So for both these years, the commission has recommended to the United States Department or the government to place India under this countries of particular concerns list. But last year what we witnessed is that Mr. Donald Trump government has rejected this recommendation. Now we have to wait and see what will happen to this recommendation. So if a country is in fact added to this list, then the government, that is the US government, might impose some sanctions on individuals, that is persons, and also entities, that is firms, which are related to the violation of fundamental religious freedom. So this is regarding this article. Next we have an article where it is stated that 3 ONGC employees are abducted in the state of Assam. We will see about the ONGC and we will see about this organization, that is Wolfa I, which is suspected to have abducted these employees. First we will talk about the ONGC. ONGC stands for Oil and Natural Gas Corporation. This firm is a government owned firm, that is it is a public sector undertaking or a public sector enterprise. This was started in the year 1995 and it comes under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. petroleum and natural gas. What is the significance of ONGC in India? Of the total natural gas and oil that is produced in India, 70% of them is produced by ONGC. That is, let's say if 100 liters of crude oil is produced in India, then it means 70 liters is being produced by ONGC. This is the importance or significance of ONGC. Next, we will talk about the organization which is suspected to have abducted them. It was called as ULFA I. It stands for United Liberation Front of Assam Independent. This is a separatist insurgent group working near the state of Assam. The main objective of this group is to establish Assam as an independent entity or a separate country. So this was banned by the government of India under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Next, we have an article, but we will only see one specific organization which was mentioned in this article. That is the UNCEF or the UNICEF. What does UNICEF stands for? It stands for United Nations International Children Emergency Fund. Children Emergency Fund. So, UNICEF. This is the full form of UNICEF. This was started in the year 1946. This was mainly to help the children who were affected by the World War II. So we have seen that World War ended in the year 1945, and to help the children who are affected by the World War II, this UNICEF was started. But later on, what we witnessed is that the UNICEF changed its name to United Nations Children's Fund. That is, it has removed two words from its name and it became the United Nations Children's Fund. But it is still termed as UNICEF, though its name has been changed. You should also note that this UNICEF or the current United Nations Children's Fund was awarded a Nobel Peace Prize in the year 1965, and this UNICEF is headquartered in New York, which is part of United States of America. Next, we have an article where it is stated the Prime Minister of India, which is Narendra Modi, is scheduled to attend a virtual climate related summit. He was attending this summit on receiving the invitation from the United States of America's president. So what is this summit themed? This is a climate related summit, and the theme of the summit is our collective sprint to 2030. So this is a theme of the climate summit which is being hosted in this year and which will be attended by Prime Minister Modi along with 40 other country heads. So you should remember that our collective sprint to 2030 is a summit related to climate change. Next, we have an article where the Punjab government has approved a reward policy. So what is this reward policy? This is a policy to reward those people who are providing information and other inputs which might lead to confiscation of drugs in the state of Punjab. So if you provide information that might lead to confiscation of drugs, which is a huge problem in Punjab, then you would be rewarded for giving this information. Which state has started this policy? That is the Punjab government. Next, we have an article where it is stated that the Partition Museum, which is in the state of Amritsar, has won a prestigious award. What is this award? It is the Best Wilder World Tourism Project Award. So this is an award which is given to the Partition Museum. Where is the Partition Museum? It is in the Amritsar, which is in the state of Punjab. So who is providing this award? This award is provided by the British Guild of Travel Writers International Tourism. So the British Guild of Travel Writers International Tourism is awarding the Partition Museum in this category. Next, we have an article where it is stated that exporters are worried about the delay in giving information regarding the rebate rates coming under the RoDTEP scheme. So, what is this RoDTEP scheme? It stands for Remission of Duties and Taxes on Export Products. So, it stands for Remission of Duties and Taxes on Export Products. So, what is this scheme? To increase the exports from India to other country, the government has brought in this scheme. Through this scheme, the government aims to give back or reimburse a part of taxes and duties that are charged from the exporters. That is, let's say you want to export 10 kgs of sugar, and to export 10 kgs of sugar, the government might charge you 10 rupees. That is 1 rupee as export tax for 1 kg of sugar. So, as you are exporting 10 kgs of sugar, the government will charge you 10 rupees. So, this will be a burden on the exporters. So, to decrease the burden and to increase and to encourage the exporters, what the government is doing is that of the 10 rupees it is charging, it plans to give back certain amount of money to the tax to those who are paying this tax. So let's say of the 10 rupees it is charging, it is giving back 5 rupees, then it would only mean that the government is taking 5 rupees, because 5 rupees is given back to the exporters. But now what happened is that as this is a new scheme launched by the government did not provide how much money will be refunded, and there is lack of certainty, lack of provisions regarding the scheme. So the exporters are worried about it. So RoDTEP is a scheme relating to the remission of duties and taxes of export products. Next, we have an article where it is stated that the Indian Comptroller and Auditor General, which is Mr. G.C. Murmu, has been appointed as the external auditor of an organization called as OPCW. What is this OPCW organization? This stands for Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. So from the name itself we can understand what this organization will do. It will aim to prohibit the usage, prohibit the stockpiling and prohibit the transfer of chemical weapons from one signatory country to other country. So, what is the chemical weapon? A chemical weapon is generally a chemical which can be used against people that can hurt them. So, do we have any examples of chemical weapons? So, we have examples like chlorine gas, sarin gas. So, when these two gases or chemicals are used on the people, then it might lead to harmful effects and even deaths in most of the cases. So, to prevent the usage of these chemical weapons, this Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons was established, and it is headquartered in The Hague, which is the capital of Netherlands. And we have seen Mr. G.C. Murmu is appointed as an external auditor for this OPCW organization. And also you should note that this OPCW organization was awarded a Nobel Peace Prize. A Nobel Peace Prize in the year 2013. This is regarding the OPCW and this article. Next, we have an article which is stating that the Australian government has cancelled some of the Belt and Road deals which it has signed with the country China. First, we will see what is the Belt and Road deal or the Belt and Road initiative. Belt and Road initiative is a infrastructure development scheme. This was started in the year 2013 by the country China. So, what is the main purpose of bringing this initiative or the scheme? This is mainly to improve the connectivity from one country to other country by improving the infrastructure of various countries. And currently 78 countries are members. Currently 78 countries are members of this Belt and Road initiative. Earlier, this initiative was also called as One Belt, One Road. That is, it was earlier called as WOBOR. This is a flagship program of the China, and it was started by the President Xi Jinping, who is also the current president of China. Is India a member of this initiative? The answer is no, because Pakistan is a member of BRI, and this Belt and Road initiative is passing through Pakistan occupied Kashmir, that is the POK, as there are some infrastructure projects going on from the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, which India states is the sovereign territory of India and originally it belongs to India. So, to disapprove this infrastructure projects in the POK, India has refrained from joining the Belt and Road initiative. Apart from India, all members of the South Asia are members of this initiative, that is Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Thailand and other countries are members of the Belt and Road initiative. And now we have seen that Australia has cancelled some of the deals it has approved with the country China regarding this Belt and Road initiative. As we are talking about Australia, we should remember its capital, which is Canberra. Next, we have an article talking about the consumer confidence in urban Indians. It is stated that the consumer confidence in the urban Indians was reduced. So, who provides this consumer confidence report, or who provides this primary consumer sentiment index? through the primary consumer sentiment index, we can understand the consumer confidence in various areas, and this index is brought in by an organization called as Refinitiv Ipsos. This is the organization which brings the primary consumer sentiment index. Next, we have an article which is stating that Mr. Arjun Kalyan has become the 68th Grandmaster in chess from India. So, he is 68th Grandmaster from India in the sport of chess, and he earned this title. He earned this title in a match which was happened at country Serbia. So, in this image you can see where Serbia is. Serbia is a European country and it is bordering with countries such as Romania, Bulgaria, North Macedonia, Kosovo, Bosnia and Herzegovina. And the capital of Serbia is Belgrade. The capital of Serbia is Belgrade. Next, we have an article which is stating that Mr. Likith has alleged that there is some discrepancy in the World Open Swimming Championship. We have seen that several Indians has won medals in the Open Swimming Championship of 2021, which was conducted in the country of Uzbekistan. So, Mr. S.P. Likith, whom you can see in this image, has alleged that there have been some discrepancies when it comes to the Open Swimming Championship which happened in the Uzbekistan. This is regarding this article. With this, we have completed all the relevant articles from both these newspapers, and we have come to the end of this session. Inform about ADOT's initiative to your other aspirant friends. Thank you.
Add-on solutions. Add-on desired.